It's amazing to be all back together. I know it's been like a really difficult last few months.
We're living in this world where there's a complete disconnect between the economy, a virtual economy, which runs on shares, and what's happening on the ground. People are losing their jobs while others are making a huge amount of money on the stock market. And we have, for example, the price of oil going below zero and then coming back up, which just doesn't make any sense. How sustainable and how normal is that world?
The leaders started looking at this entire thing called global interaction. They started critically viewing global interaction. They started thinking, is it worthwhile to stay so interconnected? Or should we become self-dependent?
There's a lot about what we call normal that isn't good.
What do we do? Do we think of a new kind of global interaction now? Now is the time to think of a new kind of global interaction, which is kind of a balance. Should we care for the environment or should we go back to full throttle economic development?
So going back to normal is not all good. And what we need to do is go back to the start and maybe take a different path.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que la résilience? C'est une capacité à vivre, à réussir, à grandir en dépit de l'adversité et en dépit des épreuves.
Time and time again, we see that it's the medical profession, that it's the scientists who have the answers. If I dig back in history, every pandemic is different. Don't listen to the quacks. Listen to medical consensus, because time and time again, they've shown that they have the answers. And most of the answers to pandemics have been pretty consistent. Contain, confine, quarantine, and if possible, treat.
We're also living in a world where some studies suggest that the 8 richest men hold the equivalent wealth of half of the population's poorest, which is, by all intents and purposes, obscene.
Le pays se prépare sur 2 années. L'été devra donc être celui du repos, mais devra également être studieux. À vous de trouver un juste équilibre.
In every pandemic, we tend to see any underlying injustices coming to the fore. Just today, it was announced in America that foreign visas were going to be canceled.
And what we have learned about the scientific process through all of this is that science is a messy process. It does take a lot of time. Scientists are human. They make mistakes. They are biased. They publish research that sometimes the data is not correct, and we need to be really critical of each other to make sure that we get it right. You have to be really critical evaluators of all the information that you come across.
We might not notice it, but we came out of this better people. We came out of this knowing more. We've developed immensely in the last couple of months. Most importantly, we've learned how to learn better on our own. I think we can't take for granted the amount of maturity we've gotten from this experience, and we really grew as people.
Nous devons viser un environnement positif où nous pouvons tirer les leçons de nos erreurs, car le racisme, la discrimination, la xénophobie, la haine, la violence ne sont que des erreurs à ne pas faire exister.
And that path, we've known what it is all along. It's enshrined in our mission as a school. The equal value of each human being, respect, diversity, thinking about the environment as a partner, as a living, breathing ecosystem. And let's be strong when we come back to follow the right path so that that juncture takes us to a higher place and not back to a normal that is actually abnormal.